Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back in another video, and today we return with college football predictions, as today we're going to be talking about the Florida Gators. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I know tons of Florida fans, and they've been wanting me to do this predictions video, so I decided to push up this Florida predictions video a little bit. So you have Florida predictions here today. And personally, I absolutely love this Florida staff that they brought in. I was always a big fan of Billy Napier down at Louisiana. You bring him in as head coach, and overall as that staff, you basically bring everybody that Billy Napier had over there at Louisiana and brought them into Florida. And that's not even that bad, because if you look over the past few years when Billy Napier started playing or started coaching for Louisiana, he's made Louisiana a top tier group of 5 program. Yes, they've not been like top 15 or whatever, but they have a great record in the Sun Belt for the past 4 years, I would say. So Billy Napier's done a fantastic job down there in Louisiana, and I'm only expecting great things for him to do at Florida. You only have around 58% of your returning starters from last year, but that's mainly due to transfers. But overall, this Florida offense shouldn't really be struggling that much, as I expect a very run-heavy offense, as that's definitely the strength of this offense right now, and that's what Billy Napier succeeded at Louisiana. Anthony Richardson, aka AR-15, man, I love this man. This dude's gonna have a phenomenal year for the Gators, and I've seen people rank him as a top 5 quarterback in college football. I'm not that high on Anthony Richardson, but man, this dude is gonna have a great year for the Gators. He's a big dual threat quarterback. He has a nice arm, and he's overall going to lead this Florida offense. But this running back core, very deep. Montrell Johnson Jr. transfers in from Louisiana, and he's probably going to be your day one starter at running back. And I think he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher this year under this Napier offense. Zaquan Wright is the backup, also with Lorenzo Lingard, a former 5-star, and then Trevor Etienne, Travis Etienne's brother. Etienne could definitely get a lot of carries in his true freshman season. This wide receiver core, it's okay. You have Justin Schroeder returning. He's probably your number 1 guy. Xavier Henderson, Trent Whitmore return. You have a transfer in Ricky Purcell coming in from Arizona State, but he recently just got hurt a few days ago, so I'm not exactly sure if he would be playing in that first game of the season. This offensive line, though, is going to be really good, and it's led by transfer guard Osiris Torrance. He was a top 5 guard at Louisiana. When he entered the transfer portal, he was one of the biggest names. Of course, he went to Florida to follow his head coach and Billy Napier. But man, oh man, I really like this Florida Gators offensive line. I really hope they do not disappoint me, and I think Torrance is going to be the main leader of that offensive line. Then we go into the defense, and I actually really like this defense as well. The main thing is this secondary. Rashad Torrance returns at safety for his junior season, as he did lead the team in interceptions last year. Jason Marshall, a former 5-star cornerback, he returns, and I think Jason Marshall is going to have a breakout season, as this is that second year for the main Florida corner, it seems. They always break out. Jalen Kimber transfers in from Georgia. Avery Helm returns. Jaden Hill returns. Trey Dean returns. Like, overall, this secondary for Florida is great. Also, I forgot to say, Travis Johnson returns at nickel. This linebacking core is also very good. Your best player is at that linebacker spot. Brenton Cox Jr., he's a redshirt senior. I think he's going to have a really good year. He is definitely going to be the face of this defense. And the rest of that linebacking core very experienced, as they both are seniors. This defensive line is really young yet talented. The main guy on that defensive line is probably Gervin Dexter, so look out for him. But overall, with this defense, it's really good. And even though the offense is probably going to get the most attention with this Florida team, I actually think the defense is going to be the best part of this team for this upcoming season. And as we look at this schedule, you have a big-time non-conference game that first week versus Utah. And man, personally, I may be watching Utah, Florida over Notre Dame, Ohio State. As that crazy as that sounds, I think this is going to be a way better game. And if you already saw my Utah predictions, you already know what my answer with this is going to be. I have the Florida Gators beating the Utah Utes Utah's probably going to be a top 4 to 7 team entering this game, but I think the Swamp is going to be really loud in this game. I think the Utah players are just not going to be used to this weather and atmosphere over there in Gainesville, and I think Billy Napier is going to want to put a statement in the SEC proving he's going to be a top tier head coach, and the Gators barely survive at home. This is going to be a close game either way, but the Gators survive. Next game, you host Kentucky, and I think that momentum from the Utah game is going to flow into this one. For like the 5,000th time in these predictions, this is one of those games where it's like a 50-50 split, and I always lean towards the home team in those instances. Florida is the home team in this one versus Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be one of the top SEC East teams as well as Florida, and then of course Georgia on top. But I think Florida's going to win another close game at home, and the Gators start off 2-0. Next game, you host USF. We're not going to waste your time. 3-0 for the Gators. And then as you head into that fourth game, that's a big time conference game at Tennessee. And I think the Gators are going to fall in this one, as I have Tennessee winning at home. At this point in the season, Florida and Tennessee could both be undefeated. And this is going to be a massive game for both teams as we head into later in the year. But I think this Tennessee crowd is going to be a lot. And overall, I think Tennessee has more talent than Florida and better coaching. I think Tennessee is going to win this game. This is a 50-50 game for me. Tennessee will win this game, though. Next game, we're not going to waste your time. You will beat Eastern Washington at home. Next game, you have Homecoming versus Missouri. And even though I do like Missouri, I think it's going to be hard for Missouri to win some games this year due to the lack of experience on that roster. Florida will win this game at home. And then you have that rivalry game, home versus LSU. And I think you're going to slip up in this one. And I actually have LSU winning on the road. I'm a big believer in this LSU team. I think Brian Kelly's going to shock a lot of people with this LSU team. I think that defense is going to be great this year, even though they do lose Eli Ricks. But I think this is going to be a close game. Could be a low-scoring game as well, as I think both defenses will show up in this one. But I think LSU is going to do enough offensively with Kayshon Boutte, and they will steal a game from the Gators on the road. Then you head into that bye, and then you have that neutral site game versus Georgia. And I think this is going to be closer than a lot of people anticipate. I'm not that high on Georgia this year. They could make the playoff again, but I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as last year. And I think Georgia will win this game. I think Georgia just has too much talent, and they do have the better coaching staff. But if Florida keeps this game close in the first half, do not be surprised. Georgia will win that game, though. Next game, you have to go to Texas A&M, and I think at this point in the season, Texas A&M is just going to be furious about the results they had earlier in the season. And since this is in College Station as well, I have the Aggies beating the Gators at home. Next game, you host South Carolina for Senior Day, and even though I'm probably a big believer in the South Carolina team, I just don't see the Gators losing their final home game with Billy Napier. Also, I think Florida does have that talent edge over the Gamecocks and their home. Give me the Gators at home. Next game, you're at Vanderbilt. We're not going to waste your time. The Gators will win this road game. And to end the season, you are on the road to play your rivals in Florida State. And a lot of people are taking Florida State in this one. I'm going to say no, actually. I think at this point in the season, Mike Norvell is just going to be fired. I do not believe in this Florida State staff. They do have the talent to compete, but I don't think that coaching staff is going to make Florida State go to a bowl game. I think they're probably going to be in that 5-7 range. That could change when I get to their prediction, but I think Florida is going to win this game, and Billy Napier is going to put a big exclamation point on the college football world, and they're going to finish the season 8-4 with losses. At Tennessee, home versus LSU, a neutral site game versus Georgia, and then at Texas A&M. So what is your prediction for the Florida Gators for this upcoming season? And like always, like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss a video. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.